When your shoulder makes a loud pop out of nowhere, it doesn't just interrupt your movement, it interrupts your confidence. You freeze. You replay the motion in your head. And for a split second, you wonder if that was the moment something finally gave out. Most people over 50 have felt that exact fear. And the sound isn't even the real problem. The fear that follows is. I'm Dr. Daniel Orcutt. And if shoulder noise has you moving slower, avoiding certain positions, or second guessing your body, I want you to hear this early. You're not failing. The system is failing you. Most people were never taught what shoulder noises actually mean, so fear fills in the gaps. Let me tell you about a woman I met years ago. She was in her early 60s. We'll call her Linda. She lifted her arm to show me what bothered her, and right around shoulder height, there was a sharp click. She flinched immediately, not because it hurt much, but because she was convinced that sound meant damage. She had stopped reaching overhead. She had changed how she slept. She had started protecting her shoulder like it was fragile. None of that helped her shoulder. It only fed her fear. Before we go any further, I want to give you something practical. I put together a free shoulder pain checklist. It helps you make sense of pain patterns when they show up with noise, so you can tell the difference between something you can work through and something that deserves a closer look. You'll find the link below. Now let's talk about what actually causes shoulder noise, especially after 50. The first reason is pressure changes inside the joint. This is the same phenomenon as cracking your knuckles. Gas bubbles shift, pressure equalizes, and you hear a pop. It can sound dramatic, but if it isn't painful, it's almost always harmless. The second reason is tendons gliding over bone. As we age, soft tissue stiffens slightly, strength patterns change, and posture shifts. When tendons don't glide as smoothly, you can hear or feel clicking during certain movements. That doesn't mean tearing. It usually means friction in a system that isn't moving as efficiently as it once did. The third and most common reason is timing. The shoulder is not a single joint, it's a coordinated system. The arm bone, the humerus, and the shoulder blade, the scapula, are supposed to move together in a very specific rhythm. When that rhythm is even slightly off, structures rub or bump in ways that create noise. When I hold a shoulder model and show people this relationship, it becomes obvious how small timing errors can create big sensations. This is a coordination issue, not a failure. Let me pause here and ask you something that really matters. Does your shoulder pop randomly, or does it happen in the exact same spot every time you lift your arm? Think about that for a second and let me know in the comments. That pattern tells us far more than the sound itself ever will. Now let's build on this a bit more. Once timing is off, people often respond by tightening up, protecting too much, or avoiding certain movements altogether. When I demonstrate this using something such as a support or taping, it's easy to see how protection quietly changes mechanics. Those changes can make the noise less. This is where understanding starts to snowball. If this explanation is helping you make more sense of what your shoulder is doing, take a second to like the video and subscribe. And in a few minutes, I want you to watch a video I made called Torn Rotator Cuff After 55. Don't rush into surgery. It connects directly to this conversation and helps you slow things down before you assume noise or discomfort automatically means damage or surgery. It is in the link below. Now here's where people get tripped up. Noise by itself is rarely the issue. What matters is how the shoulder responds to load. If a sound comes with sharp pain, if it repeats every single rep in the same arc, or if you feel weakness afterward, that deserves attention. Not panic, but attention. This is where the system often fails people. Someone hears a click, gets an MRI, and sees words like degeneration or wear. Those words sound final, even though they usually describe normal age-related changes. No one explains that clearly. So people stop trusting their shoulder. They move cautiously. They brace instead of flowing. And the mechanics get worse, not because the shoulder broke, but because fear changed how it was used. That's exactly what happened with Linda. Her clicking wasn't the real problem. Her confidence was. Once she understood the mechanics, she stopped treating the sound like a warning siren. Her movement improved. Her fear dropped. And the shoulder settled down, not because the noise vanished, but because it stopped controlling her decisions. Here's the key idea I want you to remember. Most shoulder noises don't mean you're broken. They mean something isn't moving well yet. That's a very different story. One leads to fear and avoidance. The other leads to clarity and better decisions. Your shoulder didn't suddenly fail you. The explanation failed you. If shoulder noise has you quietly worrying about tears or surgery down the road, the next video on your screen will help you think clearly before you rush that conclusion. Watch torn rotator cuff after 55? Don't rush into surgery. It's the right next step if today's video brought up bigger questions.